We'll be taking a look at junior mining in Africa with a focus on mining in Nigeria. Well, currently mining in Nigeria contributes just less than 1% to Nigeria's GDP, and Nigeria is also set to have significant mineral reserves across the country, many of which remain untapped. Well, joining me to take a closer look at this industry will be Adedolapo Akinrele, a managing partner of FO Akinrele. Well, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
All right, then. Now, over the past few years, Nigeria has continued, a drive to diversify its economy away from oil. We've seen a reform in the banking, telecoms, and, even more recently, agriculture. Now, how do you rate the reforms for growth in the mining sector?
I think the reforms are very significant. If you look back at the history, Nigeria, organized mining really started in 1903 to 1904. Mining reached perhaps its peak in the 1940s, and then as soon as the oil was discovered in 1956, mining declined significantly. There's been a palpable change in policy shift by the government since 2008. The Ministry of Solid Minerals Development has tried to input new mineral regulations and several other initiatives which are bringing the mining sector back to the fore. Certainly we're away from where we want to be, but there are indications that the government is moving forward.
All right, then. Now, how much do you think the mining industry can generate, annually if taken serious in the country?
Well, if you look at the potential, certainly at the moment it's hovering between 0.3 to 1% of GDP. There's no reason why it cannot shoot up to 5 to 6 or 7% of GDP. Certainly we have a myriad of deposits in the mining industry.
All right, then. Now let's take an overview really of the mining industry in Nigeria. What is there for investors? When you talk about mining in Nigeria, what's in store?
Well, if you look significantly, there's coal deposits in Enugu, Anambra, Bauchi. You also have significant tin deposits in Jos. You also have significant iron ore deposits, columbite and tantalites, which are ores which essentially create semi-precious stones and precious metals. Gold, uranium, bitumen, and lead and zinc. There's a variety of deposits that we have in substantial quantities. But of course, with the mining industry, it needs long money, it needs financing, and of course, it needs government consistency.
Now, you just mentioned something very important, coal. Now, we are talking about issue of power generation in Nigeria. I mean, that's been a problem for years. Now, would you actually expect that, with coal being abundant there in Enugu State, the government would have actually thought to tap into this resource a long time ago? What do you think is keeping us from, tapping into this resource over the years? Well,
we did actually, in the 50s, produce average of 500,000 tons of coal. Back in the 90s, the Nigerian Mining Corporation was created and essentially performed very well. But the shift towards diesel power and gas power, especially in the biggest demand area, which is the power sector, has certainly affected the coal sector. So essentially that has really been what has regressed coal development. But certainly our low sulfur coal is in demand all over the world, certainly in Europe, and should be in demand in Nigeria. So there's no question that if we shifted policy towards it, coal will be produced more greatly.
Okay, now let's take a look at junior mining. We know the Chinese are very active in mining resources like iron ore for export. Now to what extent are Nigerian entrepreneurs getting into mining? And what are the key constraints, to growth for local miners in Nigeria?
Well, I think up till 2008, when the Nigerian minerals policy was created, there was not very much organization for local miners. Now, one of the arms of the Nigerian Ministry of Solid Minerals Development is the artisanal and small mining departments, and that focuses on the small miners. Admittedly, they have constraints of funding, but there is actually proper focus, proper organization on small miners at the moment.
All right then. So we see this, we see the junior miners expanding with time in Nigeria, growing with time rather in Nigeria, if the right policies are put in place. But, while we talk about, yes, trying to develop the mining sector and also, that industry, we must also take a look at, the implications, look at environmental implications, the possible resettlements and compensations of, those whose lands probably are going to be used. Now, do you see us towing the path of oil exploration, and the woes that came with it if we decide to explore mining to its maximum?
Well, I think a lot of lessons have to be learned from the oil exploration. We had the Land Use Act, where compulsory acquisition of lands was the order of the day. Certainly, pollution is a major issue in oil exploration. It is perhaps not with the same degree, but the same issues arise with mining, where essentially there needs to be environmental controls and there needs to be proper oversight by the ministry. These departments are certainly contained departments within the ministry, and I think going forward there'll be much more focus on that area.